Senate File 778 on the calendar for today, the fifth engrossment, an act relating to collective bargaining.
Representative Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And members, I've been hearing about this bill all night long, so I guess it's time to take it up. Members, what this bill does is it provides two groups of workers in the state of Minnesota the ability to be able to have a vote on whether they want to form a bargaining unit and ultimately form a union. It affects daycare workers that take CCAP dollars, and it affects personal care attendants or home health care workers who get money from the state. And you may ask why we're here and why we're doing this bill. Well, 2 years ago, Governor Dayton signed an executive order and attempted to give child care workers the right to form a union. This was struck down by the Second Judicial District Court. And while I may have supported, and I do support the governor's purpose for this, which is why the bill is here, and support the people and support people's right to collectively bargain, it was the proper ruling by the courts. It was about separation of powers. In the court ruling, they said that the governor of Minnesota did not have the right to unilaterally set a clearly articulated and affirmatively expressed state policy. And it goes on to say that accordingly, only the legislature, that's us, has the power to make law and determine the expediency of its enactment. So that's why we're here with this bill today. In the last decade, the legislature has been cutting funding for home health care workers and for our daycare providers. The budget put forward in the last biennium had a $57 million cut for home health care workers and a $27 million cut for daycare workers. These workers are people, mostly women, who take care of our children, our youngest, our most valuable resources, and the personal care attendants take care of the people, some of the most vulnerable people we have in our society. And it makes these citizens' lives better and allows them to live in dignity. Now, members, what does this bill do? We've been hearing a lot of rhetoric out there, a lot of emails back and forth, but what this bill does, and basically the only thing this does, is it allows interested people to join together to raise their collective voices to improve the quality of the work and set standards in their chosen professions. And this is through discussions of best practices and working to raise reimbursement rates. It allows those interested to do this by pursuing a union to assist them to do this. What the bill doesn't do, and this is where people have been out there spreading a lot of misinformation, this bill doesn't tell providers how to raise their kids, daycare providers. And it doesn't tell PCA clients who they have to hire. And it does not, I repeat this, it does not create or form a union. It only provides those that are interested the opportunity to attempt to do that. Doesn't create it, and allows those that are interested, if they're interested, to do that. It's about giving people a voice in their job. It's about giving people a voice in their workplace. And members, that's what this bill does. And with that, I will stand for questions. And I believe there's a one or two amendments.
Mr. Speaker.
Representative Dowd.
Mr. Speaker, I move to table Senate File 778.
Representative Dowd moves to table House File 778. All in favor of that say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. No. The motion doesn't prevail.
Division, Mr. Speaker.
Division has been requested.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Point of parliamentary inquiry. Mr. Speaker, can you tell us what order of business we're on?
We're on the motion to table.
Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, point of parliamentary inquiry.
State your point of parliamentary inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, has the clerk finished counting those in favor of the motion? to
I
lay
don't
on the
know,
table?
Representative Pepin.
Mr. Speaker, point of parliamentary inquiry. Point of parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what is the delay? Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, point of parliamentary inquiry.
State your point of parliamentary inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, what is the delay?
I don't think that's parliamentary inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, point of parliamentary inquiry.
State your point of parliamentary inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, has the chief clerk finished counting
I don't know.
those in favor? I could assist, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, point of parliamentary inquiry, actually parliamentary information. There's 60 members on our side that have voted. Mr. Speaker, point of information. Maybe you can tell us if we're waiting for members to actually drive in or if they're just walking from their offices.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, point of order. Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Section 576 of Mason says when a presiding officer refuses to put a motion that is properly before the body, the proper procedure is to select at once a temporary presiding officer to put the motion to a vote. Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, by chance, are you waiting for AFSCME to vote on this bill?
Mr. Speaker, point of order, please. Mr. Speaker, Section 578, limitations on presiding officer. Under ordinary conditions, the authority of the presiding officer is derived wholly from the body itself. The presiding officer is the servant of the body to declare its will and to obey its command. Mr. Speaker, is the counting finished? Mr. Speaker, is the counting finished?
You can stand or sit, and the no votes or the no votes can stand. There being 60 ayes and 70 nays, the motion does not prevail.